Hello, Ray Phoenix here. Welcome to Let's Play Jumping Flash Part 5. So we're going off to Extra Free-1. We're going to the same carnival we were at earlier. You see the front and admission section looks exactly the same as it was the first time around. And now there's that island over there, that island off in the sky that we can jump to, take a really long jump to. It's exactly the same, only there's a jetpack there now rather than the bonus level. Location of the bonus level has been moved. It's been swapped. There used to be a jet pod there before, but now they moved to the bonus level. All they really did in this level is just rearranged a few things and rings, and that was just about it. This level's probably changed the least actually in extra mode than it was in the original mode the first time we came across this level. A lot of other stuff is in similar locations as well too. So if you remembered how it was the first time around, it's mostly the same in this level. You can actually get some really high jumps in this level if you jump on those missiles that rocket launcher thing is shooting at, especially if you're in hyper mode, because super mode only covers the first regular worlds of the game. Hyper mode covers these levels, like these extra levels, and it's a lot faster. You hold down one of the shoulder buttons and you run a lot faster, and you can jump a lot higher. These bonus stages are a lot easier in that mode too, because Robert can jump way higher. It's actually a lot very challenging. This bonus stage is actually really challenging, because Robert can't jump nearly as high as he could in hyper mode, which I technically played through hyper mode a few years ago, back before my channel had any class or quality. Some would say that my YouTube channel still doesn't have any class or quality after all these years. What do I care? YouTube, even if I did put class and quality into my videos, YouTube isn't gonna care. They're never gonna let me monetize my channel. I've given up on having my channel monetized. I play videos on YouTube for them, because I think it's a great form of entertainment. And it's a good way for me to, state what I think of things. I can show people games that I play and stuff like that. I can tell people what I think of games and what I like. It's actually really good for that, actually. It's not about the money. If you really like something, you do it just because, you think it's a thing to do, not because of money. I never made a single cent off YouTube. I never made a single cent off any of my written works or anything. I hope it could change soon if I get my novel published. There's this fan they could ride on there. I wonder how heavy Robert is, or how powerful that fan is. If Robert could just float in the fan. I know robots typically weigh a lot. I know Mega Man weighs quite a bit, actually. But these fans seem to be able to allow Robert to levitate in the air. So he must not be that heavy. Or maybe he is. I don't know. Maybe it's just the physics. I know in the last video I praised this game for the physics. But how accurate physics, really. I never really come across fans like that much in real life. I mean, sure, I did do indoor skydiving once. It was a really disorienting experience. So now I've cleared this level. The exit's in pretty much the exact same spot it was in before. This whole level is exactly the same as it was before, pretty much. We're going to see some more changes in Extra Free-2. Yeah, even more nostalgic changes. It's like they took the most nostalgic level in the game, they stretched it out even more. Yeah, I'm still beginning with that frog that has the crown on there, and there's a clock, a pocket watch clock thing hanging from the chain. There's a time extension, so we get less time this time around. And then there's tents that fly in the sky and stuff like that. There's even more stuff. This is exactly what extra mode system is. Even in extra mode, this level is still the best levels. You can see why a lot of people think this level is really good. It is a good demonstration of what the game is capable of. It's really hard to do long jumps. Robert can't really do long jumps very well. He's not like Mario in Mario 64, where he could jump really far from a platform or something, or jump off a ledge and go really far. Robert isn't really capable of long jumping. I think he could in the third Jumping Flash game. The third Jumping Flash game is drastically different from the first two, mostly because it involves Robert doing work at a time of peace, and he has to do chores for everyone. I didn't know the story to the game was at all because the game's in Japanese and I don't speak Japanese, but I'd like to learn Japanese eventually, so I could play a lot of those games, watch anime without having to use subtitles or anything like that, but I mean, the game doesn't really have much of a story. Jumping Flash 3 doesn't really have much of a story. It's in Japanese, and I was able to figure out what the story was. That's how easy the story is to follow along. And so there's these rainbow roller coasters again, which are even longer this time around. You can jump on them and you can ride them around. And they've done to go like the one that was just a simple oval before now goes in a figure 8 now. And there's more it's just what you expect from extra mode. There's more hazards, the level is larger, larger levels. I sometimes think it would have been better if they did this the first time around. They should have just, like maybe they should have just done this first time. This game already is kind of easy as is, and maybe they could have made extra mode even like more insanely difficult, almost like Kaizo level difficult. I wonder if there'd ever be something like that. Kaizo Jumping Flash. There's like very little places to land. There's enemies jumping around, and you have to like precisely choreograph every single thing you do to beat the level. I remember I used to watch Kaizo Mario hacks a lot back in the early days of YouTube. Yeah, I still consider 2009 to be the early days of videos. I can't even consider 2012 now to be like the early days of YouTube videos now, considering the fact that YouTube is like 18 years old now. Like, whoa. Yeah, I can still starting to feel hairs on my head to go gray. Like my scalp hairs are starting to turn gray now, considering how long YouTube has been around, considering the fact that my very early videos from 2017, and yet that feels like ancient history now these days. The first video I ever made was a time where I went to an arcade, and I filmed a game that I played. There was a sit-down cocktail table Ms. Pac-Man machine, and just recently I went to an arcade called 1UP Arcade, I think it's called. It's the largest retro video game arcade in the Southern Hemisphere. It's a really good arcade that has tons of classic retro games. They have a lot of those Neo Geo MVS machines lying around. You can play all sorts of games. I got to play the original Bust a Move on one of them. I got to play Strikers 1945 on another one of them. It was an awesome experience going to that arcade and getting to play real arcade games, real classic arcade games. I love playing real classic arcade games on actual arcade machines. It's one of the best things around. It's located in Brisbane, and it's like a really good, like it really is worth your time if you like to play the classic arcade games. I was there for 7 hours, and I didn't get to play everything. I really would like to go back there again eventually. I hope I could go back there eventually and get to play more arcade games. I don't know, there's something about arcade games that give me a sense of, like, give you a sense of, like, everything is perfect, everything is good. Just something you can't really get from playing games on old systems, especially emulators these days. You can get all those games on emulators these days, but nothing could ever compare to playing on an actual arcade machine. I know I've talked in a lot of my other videos how I think it's bad that arcades are dying, but apparently in Australia, arcades are not dying. So I guess that's good. It's got a really big score for that level. Score is everything in arcade games, but Jumping Flash is not an arcade game, so score is completely useless. And now we've cleared out the carnival. This time we cleared out the carnival again. Yeah, cleared the carnival. Now put all those carnies out of a job. And scammers are probably selling you fake products that are gonna make your house catch on fire or something like that. And now we're going to the slippery Iceland again. There's actually a jetpack that spawns here. He actually starts at the top, actually, and kind of slowly falls down. I've been playing that a bunch of times, traveling the level, thinking, where is it? Oh, wait, it's right at the beginning. Wait a minute, I spawned at the beginning of the level. How did I not see that? And there's this challenging one to get where you have to jump on the, you have to accurately, precisely jump on the platforms and move. This part is actually really challenging with a keyboard. I know, so I'm playing this game with a keyboard a lot lately, but I can still beat the game pretty good with a keyboard, simply because I'm the master of Jumping Flash. I probably will one day appear in the Guinness Book of World Records being the guy who spent more time playing this game than any other game ever. I probably even beat that Eulilia, whatever his name was, guy. Like one of the first people I ever watched on YouTube that introduced me to Jumping Flash. He spent like tons of hours playing this game. He does all sorts of bizarre stuff that involves like reaching the maximum heights in the game. He also did the same thing with Bubsy 3D as well too. I have considered doing Let's Plays of Bubsy 3D eventually. The only thing that's stopping me from doing a Let's Play of Bubsy 3D is that I've never beaten Bubsy 3D before. I never beat the game at all before. Never made it to the last level of the game, and I've never found a way how to collect all the rockets in that game. I'm not even sure if that game is possible to do in the game, considering the fact that a lot of people know Bubsy 3D as being like one of the worst video games ever made, which I disagree with. I actually don't like Bubsy 3D, actually. I think it's a pretty entertaining game overall, and a pretty fun and an enjoyable experience. Well, I often associate with Jumping Flash, simply because I used to play those games a lot back when I was a kid. I used to play Jumping Flash and Bubsy 3D all the time. That's why I associate the two games with each other. For a similar reason why I associate the original Ape Escape with the Spider-Man game from 2000 on the PS1, simply because they're both games that I will play a lot with each other. That's why I associate the two with each other. I kind of also vaguely associate Twisted Metal 4 in there too, because I played Twisted Metal 4 a lot during that time as well too. Around the time my father gave me his copies of Twisted Metal 3 and 4 because he didn't like them. Twisted Metal 3 was fine, but Twisted Metal 4 was way better. Twisted Metal 4 is an underrated masterpiece. I think I've already said that a lot before. I often comment that on YouTube videos. Apparently Twisted Metal is becoming popular again all of a sudden for no apparent reason. The people are making videos of it a lot. Not even I kind of cashed in on this a little bit by making my own videos of Twisted Metal, which despite it being really popular, videos just get average amounts of views. Gets maybe about 5 views per video and that's it, which is pretty typical for my YouTube videos. My YouTube videos don't get an awful lot of views, mostly because YouTube's algorithms like to steer people away from my videos. It's like YouTube's algorithms hate me, maybe algorithms in general hate me. Then again, algorithms are kind of an odd thing. They're the reason why I find people on Discord, they're the reason why friendships are born, and at the same time, they're the reason why I discover disturbing stuff that keeps me up all night long. So I guess algorithms are kind of like my friends and like my friend and enemies at the same time. Friends and enemies at the same time. So now that we're in 4-2, extra 4-2 actually begins where regular World 4-2 ended. It was implying like nothing else happened between regular 4-2 and this one. We're back where we finished the last one. So you have to go back in the elevator and go back to where the rest of the level is. So we could get the jet pods. This level, if there's a jet pod right there, it's good that the game points them out like that where it says jet pod and you can actually view it through walls. It's good, so it says that way you know where all the jet pods are. Otherwise, this game probably would be a lot more challenging if it didn't do that. And yet people often bash this game for being too easy. There is one thing I do know. I earlier said I don't think the people made this game. I don't want to make anything else. I don't know of them making anything else. There's actually one other game I do know that these people made. They made a game called Geograph Field. It's a game very similar to this, which came out on some weird fruity game system that only came out in Japan around in the 90s, I think. And this game came out in 1994. I never got to play this game until it came out in Japan. I have no idea how to relate the system it's on or what system it would be on or anything like that. I think I just walked into a circle. Yeah, I've played this game for years and I still walk around in circles, which is, very typical of this game for me to walk around in circles. Even I get lost a lot of the time. There's Baron Aloha. That's like the feel of Baron Aloha. He has pretty show of tan skin. His skin appears to be like golden colored, implying that he's tan. Considering the fact he wears a Hawaiian shirt all the time, he really sits in the sun a lot of the time. And I also used to think there's like a tree growing on his head or something like that. I remember way back in the early days, like in ancient antiquity days of my writing career, I remember I came up with a villain once that had that was vaguely based off Baron Aloha, and he had a tree on his head. His hair was designed to look kind of like a tree was growing out of his head. Kind of like what Baron Aloha looks like on his seal right now on the screen. Yeah, it was a comic that I made a long time ago. It was about this robot hero kid named Justin that lives in the future and he fights all sorts of bizarre villains and stuff like that. And this is actually technically still a current series in my stage. Sure, it's nowhere near as popular, nowhere near as successful as Jason and Mason, but it's still a pretty enjoyable series, a pretty entertaining series. A lot of friends on Discord like it. My friend Loomy Dreamer keeps pestering me to make a section of my Discord server for the Justin Saga, and I keep forgetting because I'm lazy and I'm busy with other stuff that might be more important. I also think Justin's sidekick, Larry the Robot's probably a lot more popular too. I remember I first introduced Larry the Robot to the world in 2018 on DeviantArt. People kept one person would download every single thing I ever drew of Larry the Robot, like they had some sort of weird fascination. Never found out who this person was, and to this day I still don't know who this person was. It's still an unsolved mystery. I still wonder what kinds of people view my stuff and what they think of my stuff. And I mean, not everyone that views my stuff comments what they think, so I wonder what they think. And so now that we've made it through this maze, we're going to take on the tortoise boss again, which tortoise boss is, this can be the exact same tortoise boss we've seen the first time around, the first time we went through this level. Well, Well, and every boss is indicated by a Moo, as I said before. The Moo, I wonder if it actually is a Moo controlling these bosses, or maybe the bosses are just like sentient robots, or I don't know. I sometimes wonder if Robot's a true sentient robot, or maybe he's like some robot mech that's controlled by a real rabbit or something like that. Or that teddy bear thing is controlling him. Well, the teddy bear thing is or whatever his name is, Kumagoro or whatever his name is, the teddy bear thing on the screen. That's Robot's side. He's the one who always says, he always says stuff, and he narrates what goes on. He always says, if you get hit by something else, says, it's not Robot speaking. Robot doesn't really speak. But then again, in the credits of the game, it does mention Robot's voice, so maybe that is Robot's voice speaking. Maybe his sidekick is completely useless or something like that. Maybe that is, I don't know. I never tried to solve the lore of this game. The lore of this game is very, I don't know, I never realized how complex Jumping Flash lore really was, or potential lore, because I'm just coming up with stuff based on what's shown in the game. I don't even think they established a canonical spelling of the word Moo, which is why in the instruction book Moo is spelled like M-U-M-U, but in the second game it's spelled like M-U-U-M-U-U. And so we're going back to Chinatown, but this will be in the next part. This is Ray Phoenix, signing out.